India is federal, but center is stronger than the states. So, is Indian federalism actually federal? So, this is the constitutional paradox that today's question is asking us. Hello students, today as a part of Mains Answer Writing series, we are coming up with the 2014 polity questions. So, we'll read the question. So, the federal principle is dominant in our constitution and that principle is one of its basic features. Which principle? Federal principle. It is equally true that federalism under the Indian constitution leans in favor of a strong center. A feature that militates against the concept of strong federalism. Which feature? That is the strong center feature. Strong center, a feature that militates against the concept of strong federation. So, what they have asked? Discuss. The directive word discuss, it means we have to examine the statement by exploring in a multiple perspectives. So, that is what discuss as a directive meaning. So, the question is basically saying us the two things. So, if you are decoding the question, the first part of the question is they are saying India is a federation and that is a basic part of our basic structure of our constitution. And the second part it is saying Indian federation has a strong centralizing tendencies that appears to be goes against the strong federation. So, that is the two things that the question is saying. So, if you are decoding the question, here the examiner wants us to write three things. The first thing is about India as a federation, and second thing is centralizing features or central leaning features within the federation, and third one, what is the need of strong center? Need of strong center. So, this is the three things that we have to address in the body. So, next, if you are writing introduction, so you can write the introduction with the explaining what kind of Indian federation. So, that you can write it in the introduction. Kind of Indian federation, that might be quasi-federal, you can use the word quasi-federal state, and in the conclusion, you can take a balanced form of opinion. Like, what is the summarizing all these three things? The federal features are there is a centralizing features is there in Indian constitution, and also need of strong center. You have to combine all these things and then you have to write a balanced conclusion. So, pause the video and write the answer. Then you look at the answer, whether you have written in a structured format, and then evaluate yourself. So, here in the introduction we have written India has a federal constitution within a unitary bias. While the federalism is a basic structure of the constitution, but the framers of Indian constitution deliberately created a strong union to safeguard the national unity, integrity and stability in a diverse country or else a socio-cultural landscape of India. So, hence Indian federalism can be described as a quasi-federal in nature or the federal in form but unitary in spirit during the special circumstances or the emergency conditions. Then you can write it in the introduction. So, coming to federal features. Here we have to establish that Indian state is a federation. So, you can write, one is, what are all the 4 to 5 features of federation? Dual polity, where the two governments at the central level and state level can exist, and the constitutional division of powers, and division of powers which is there in the 7th schedule. That also you can use the articles to substantiate that federal features. there is a union, state and concurrent list within the constitution. And third feature is supremacy of the constitution, which is a law of land. So, and that is protected by the independent judiciary, and written and partly rigid constitution. So here, which is more important federal features, the state ratification is required if the union wants to change any federal features in the constitution. So it means it is a rigid constitution, and then it is the Supreme Court or the independent judiciary that is the arbiter of center and state disputes. These are all the federal features which gives powers to the both union and state from the constitution. They are getting the powers from the constitution. So coming to central leaning features within the Indian constitution, these are also we have to write 4 to 5 features. So what are all those features? So here the unequal distribution of powers between the center and state. It means the center has more powers, like residuary powers, and within the division of powers also, center has more subjects compared to the states. And third one is parliament can legislate the state subjects also during emergency condition or the special circumstances. Next, the emergency provisions. During these emergencies, we know that so India will become an centralizing or central leaning state at that time. And Article 356, where the president rule can be proclaimed within the state. So that we can write. And it's the governor appointment. It is the center that is appointing an executive at the state level. So this means center is controlling the states. So that is also a feature within the centralizing features in the Indian constitution. Then third one is parliament can alter the states' boundaries and also states' names, which means indestructible union but destructible states that has power with the parliament. So this also shows that India is a kind of unitary. It looks like India is a kind of unitary state. So next one, states have considerable fiscal dependence on union, such as like if states wants to take any loan from the abroad, they have to take permission from the union government and then they have to take. So this is fiscal dependence on the state, union by the states. So these are all the central leaning features within the Indian constitution. So coming to, we have to substantiate that yes, India has a central leaning features, but what is that need? So that need of strong center. Basically, why we have considered that kind of federation? Because to protect the unity, integrity and stability of the Indian Union. So there is a regional disparities and the immense socio-cultural diversities is there. So within these divisions are there, social divisions. To protect this India as an union or the one nation, we should have strong center. So that is what we have to write. And again, we can also quote evolving nature of Indian federation, means through cooperative federalism and competitive federalism, and recently GST Council, Finance Council. These are all the things that is remaining India as a federation active. So here we can also quote the Supreme Court judgments like SR Bommai case and also Sarkaria Commission, Panchi Commission recommendations. And in the conclusion, we have to write a balanced view. Indian federalism is neither a classical federation or a conventional type of federation, nor a unitary system. It is a federation with a strong center, that is a quasi-federal in nature, that is designed to protect the national unity and along with the regional autonomy. So this kind of federation, which is very unique to India, which constitutional makers have thought to protect India's diversity across socio-cultural diverse landscape in the India. So this is what we have to address in the question.